There's a relationship between happiness and religion. People who are religious seem to be happier for whatever reasons, probably because religion has a way of, taking care of people's emotions than as opposed to people who may not have any belief system, faith, who may not have a religious inclination. Hello and welcome again to Regenerate, where we focus on mental and emotional well-being as well as personal improvement. And today our topic is happiness, and happiness is a science, the science of happiness. And as we all know, as human beings, we are always in pursuit of happiness because it's something desirable. It's something that makes us, better beings, better human beings. And happiness is understood as the presence of positive emotions or the absence of negative emotions. Now, the science of happiness looks at what happiness is, how we experience happiness, the difference or what differentiates people who are happy or happier from those who are not. And it also looks at how we can train our brains to be happy, for us to be happy. And so what have recent studies shown? One, that much of happiness is not determined by genetic makeup, but by our experiences on a day-to-day basis. Apparently, happiness makes better citizens. People who are happy are better citizens. That's what studies have shown. And also, there's a relationship between happiness and religion. People who are religious seem to be happier for whatever reasons, probably because religion has a way of, taking care of people's emotions than as opposed to people who may not have any belief system, faith, who may not have a religious inclination. And studies have also shown that gaining or getting money or a lot of money only creates happiness to a certain degree. There's a certain amount of money that beyond that doesn't really make much of a difference. So it only gives you joy and happiness up to a certain degree, but beyond a certain amount, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Now, here are some tips on how to become a happier person. One, or rather, some factors, some tips, or some before we go to the tips, some factors involving or concerned about happiness. One, happier people. It is said. It is seen that happier people fall sick less. The happier you are, the less likely you are to fall sick, as opposed to someone who's not really happy. Happier people release, happier people release less cortisol, which is the stress hormone, and therefore they're not stressed that much. Happiness boosts your immunity, or your immune system is given a boost if you're happy. People tend to enjoy, happy people tend to enjoy healthier and happier relationships. That as opposed to even having a lot of money. So happier people have a way of building healthier and happier relationships, healthier and happier. It's been discovered, or research shows that happier people live longer. They have a longer lifespan than people who are less happy, and happiness is contagious. It means that if you hang around people who are happy, you will find yourself, getting into that kind of mood. So those are some of the things that happiness, the science of happiness has shown. It is also, studies have also shown that people who engage in pro-social behavior are happier. Pro-social behavior like showing acts of kindness, in being empathetic, helping people. This increases people's happiness significantly. So, is it possible for us to train our brains to be happier, or do we just wait until happiness finds us? And the answer is yes. It is possible to train ourselves or our brains to be happy. The genetic contribution to happiness is only 40% according to studies. And then other factors like the food you eat, the basic essentials, the food, the shelter, security, accounts to 10%. But the rest, that is 50%, is actually up to us. It is in our hands. We can actually, find ways to bring that happiness. 50%, it's in our own hands. So what are some of the ways we can train our brains or train ourselves to find happiness or to be happier? Number one, let go of perfectionism. People who have a tendency to perfectionism are less likely to be happy than people who are more easygoing. It is because perfectionism makes you set very high standards for yourself and for others. And a lot of times these standards are not really met. So you end up being, unhappy and, grouchy and all that. So let go of perfectionism, just release some of these expectations that are very high and you will be happier. Number two, get rid of unhealthy comparisons. Every time you compare yourself to others, you will definitely find that you're not happy, because you will always find people who are doing better than you. You will always find people who, seem to be progressing, who are, doing better. So don't. Everybody's life is personal. Just run your race, walk on your lane, live your life. So get rid of unhealthy comparisons. If you're going to compete, just compete with yourself. How were you last year? How are you 6 months ago? And strive to move forward. But don't avoid comparing yourself with others in an unhealthy way. Number three, do not equate happiness with external or material stuff. A bigger house, a bigger car, a better job, all those external material stuff. Why? Because it has been shown, that once we acquire stuff that we desire, we are only happy for a very short time. After that kind of, it fades off. You find yourself back to where you are and you want something better than that. So it's only temporary. So do not equate happiness with external stuff or material things. Number four, and this is very, very important, cultivate an attitude of being content and being grateful for what you already have. One of the things that steals our happiness or our joy is when we are so busy pursuing stuff, looking for what we don't have, looking for what we would like, and we forget to look at what we already have. If you cultivate an attitude of being grateful, gratitude and being contentedness is a very strong factor when it comes to happiness, because you give yourself time and you allow yourself to enjoy the things you already have. That does not mean that you will not pursue to acquire stuff or to grow, but you're already setting time to enjoy what you already have, even as you move forward. So having that attitude is one of the biggest factors that contribute to a lot of happiness to people. That is why you may see someone who doesn't seem to have much, but they are very happy. They are contented. They are always, they are appreciative of what they have. They are appreciative of, their lives and those around them. And they rarely have time to focus on what they don't have. And so those are some of the factors that can help us grow towards, enjoying more happiness and creating happiness in our lives. So letting go of perfectionism, avoiding unhealthy comparisons, not equating happiness to external material, stuff, and cultivating and living a life of gratitude and being content with what we already have. And so that way we will start enjoying, a life that is more full of happiness, and some of this stuff that comes with unhappiness will fall off. So that's what we had for you today. Thank you very much.